Dave Weinberg, Press of Atlantic City on the Birds as we get ready for Eagles and Saints. And I know, Dave, last week when we talked to you, you felt pretty comfortable and confident about playing the Cowboys. I hope you feel pretty comfortable and confident about the Eagles getting blown out by the Saints. That might be a good thing.
Yeah, actually I do. But last week didn't turn out the way I thought. But maybe I'll be wrong this week.
Definitely, you've been covering this team almost, 25, 26 seasons. Have you seen a more somber bunch than the one that got beat on Sunday night?
It's been a while. It's been a while. They were physically, emotionally, mentally beaten the other night. I mean, the scene in the locker room, they were just totally frustrated, disappointed, angry. They're gonna have a really tough time, I think, bouncing back this week.
Are you getting that feeling walking around NovaCare this week that they have not bounced back?
Well, today's the first day we're going to finally, really get a chance to be in there, and we don't get in there till like 3 o'clock or so. But I think I've heard some people have been, that I've been chatting with. They were telling me that this is the game that they can really like put it together and really bounce back. That they took the Cowboys too lightly, but I just don't agree. I think that the Cowboys game was the one that they really had placed all their marbles in, coming off a bye. They figured this is the one we're really going to make the move. It's the Cowboys, and for them to have that kind of performance, they're going to have a really tough time recovering from that, I think.
Do you think, Dave, that there is a specific area that you could point to if this team does happen to put something together that this switch would just be lit? And I'm going to guess that answer is no, because even when you look at what things have been going right for this team, it just hasn't been enough. I mean, look no further right than Zach Ertz. So I don't know if there's an area or a position. Maybe you think, listen, if this team won 2 of 3 or 3 of 4, it would be because all of a sudden this guy or these guys got it.
Yeah, if I point to one area, I guess it would have to be the secondary. If there's
anybody left,
right? Correct. That's the point. I mean, if they were somehow able to perform this, form this cohesive unit, and bond and be able to stop people, but like you said, they're down to their 4th and 5th and 6th corners, guys who were on the practice squad, guys who weren't even on the team at the beginning of the year. Bunch of guys named Sullivan I've never even heard of.
Now, great. I feel like I'm not on an island. I didn't know who Chandon Sullivan. I never even heard of the guy.
You're not alone.
Because he didn't go to West Virginia.
When he was out there, I was pretty surprised.
That is true. He didn't go to West Virginia.
So therefore, Mike doesn't know what sport he plays if he doesn't go to West Virginia.
Well, the other West Virginia guy, a lot of people have been asking for Rasul Douglas, and he was another guy who struggled on Sunday. Do we anticipate that Sidney Jones and Jalen Mills will be back and make this a little bit more competitive offering in the secondary?
Jalen's not going to be back this week anyway. There's a slight chance that Sidney will be. But I think you're looking more about what you saw on Sunday with Rasul and Avonte Maddox and Chandon Sullivan and Trey Sullivan and Ed Sullivan and all the Sullivans.
Right. Let me ask you, do you feel like there's a lot of hatred towards Schwartz right now? There's a lot of people saying, he's awful, he needs to be fired, he's doing an awful job. Do you get the sense that he is doing a poor job with what he has?
Boy, that's tough to say. I mean, it's a combination of, I think part of it is that the personnel isn't there. I've heard people ragging on him about not blitzing more, but, it's tough to blitz when you got that ragtag secondary back there. I think the linebackers have really underperformed, and I don't know if that's because of Jim or because of them. So I think there's probably a little bit of blame to go around on the defense. Part of it might be him. Part of it might be the personnel and the way that the players just haven't taken ownership of themselves. I think Nigel Bradham's been a disappointment. Jordan Hicks, I think, has been a little bit of a disappointment. I just don't see the cohesiveness, the aggressiveness, the confidence that defense had last year.
Do you think that there's going to be any type of change that you can see? It's not going to be Jim Schwartz unless he leaves. But
Right.
this has been, and I guess, Mike, let me preface this question, Dave, which we've seen in the past. Hey, the team has had success one year. The next year, they take a significant step back. They fire some people. But you've covered the league a while. You know that the highly successful teams don't usually do that. And sometimes to a fault, but for the most times, it's, hey, listen, we took a step back, but we keep the same unit that was successful for the most part. Do you anticipate a specific coordinator, or pardon me, not coordinator, coach, or somebody taking the fall for what looks to be a lost season? Or do you think that things have maybe changed under this new norm that Doug spoke about, at least from the coaching and keeping people intact?
Yeah, I think they're going to stay the course at least for one more year. They're going to give Mike Rowe and Press Taylor time to grow into their roles a little bit more. Everybody knew about Frank Reich and John DeFilippo, and
sure. But those guys left.
They had on Carson. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just saying, like, that's the difference, right? Those guys leave versus
right.
Getting fired.
You're always going to get that. You saw that with Andy all the time. I mean, his coordinators were leaving left and right for getting head coaching jobs and stuff, and he always had to adapt and adjust. I think they're willing to chalk this season up as just like maybe a learning experience for those guys. Maybe it was a bigger step than maybe they were anticipating, but I think next year will really be the telling point as to whether those guys are capable of handling that responsibility.
Now, let me ask you, because a lot of people have made the question of Reich, DeFilippo, those guys are no longer here. Do you think that those guys had a big impact? They obviously had a big impact. Or is it that the guys they replaced them with aren't ready for this? You know what? Like somebody made the claim. Yeah, somebody made the claim a couple of weeks ago was that, look, Press Taylor and Mike Groh, like these guys weren't the first choice, second choice, third. Like, Reich left, DeFilippo left, other guys got moved around. Like these guys weren't like the first or second options. These are like the third and fourth options that they had to go to.
Yeah, without being like around them like all the time, like we're not in the meeting rooms. I'm not really sure about the kind of relationship that Carson has with Mike and with Press. I don't know if it's as close as it was with Frank and John, but I think they're good coaches, and I think that they're going to get better. I'm not willing. To the bottom line, though, this is Doug's offense. He's the one that calls the shots, so I'm going to put more of the blame on him than I am the other two guys. I mean, Doug's been a quarterback in the NFL. He's been a quarterback's coach in the NFL. He's been an offensive coordinator in the NFL. He should know what it takes to succeed as an offensive coach. And the fact that they're not getting it done, I think, falls on his shoulders more than his coordinators or his position coaches. Have
you sensed a difference in body language with you and other maybe members of the media, fans as well, as far as like interacting?
My body language is the same.
No, I know yours are. I mean, listen, you guys are pros up there.
I know.
You've dealt with the Ray Rhodes and all the other crap, that the coat tights. We've seen it all, right? I'm just saying with Jim Schwartz specifically, and I'm just referencing yesterday. He's up there, and as I think anybody who's covered him knows, that he wasn't going to go up there and say, "Oh, it's all my fault. We're changing everything." It was pretty much, we're going to pretty much do what we do. But do you sense any difference in his body language, even though his message has been the same?
Maybe a little bit. The biggest change, I think, is Doug.
Interesting.
He's very combative, very argumentative, not willing to, everything last year was kind of like, all fun and jokes and, his zippy one-liners, and even his first year, the same thing. But now he seems to be really feeling the pressure. That I'm kind of surprised, given like I said, his background as a player and a coach. You'd think he'd be used to the heat, but he's really changed his approach this year with the media specifically. Just much more combative, much more maybe. And I can understand his level of frustration. I mean, he preached about this is the new norm. This is the new norm. We're going to contend, and now that hasn't happened, I guess that's kind of like really had a big effect on him.
Dave Weinberg, Press of Atlantic City, right here on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. Eagles, Saints, this Sunday. They flexed it. I'm sure Fox is wishing they got out of this game. You seeing any? A couple of years ago, they went up to New England, won a game. No one gave them a shot. There's been some, I remember '06, Dave. I think you and I were still talking back then, and probably in this same time slot.
Yeah.
Jeff Garst came in. They got the doors blown off by Indianapolis. They played 3 straight division road games, won them, won 6 straight, went into the playoffs. They played 3 straight division games after this coming up. So you see any shot that they get right against the Saints?
No.
I
love it.
All right, man. Well, good luck. Should be a fun week up there. When things are like this, it's always fun up there.
Oh, yeah, never a dull moment.
Dave
I'm
Weinberg.
looking forward to Cage Fury, too, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that should be fun. You're looking forward to it. I've never really jumped into this realm before. I'm really looking forward to this. I was.
That's really cool. You're going to love the main event. Cesar Balmaceda from Atlantic City.
Yeah,
tremendous.
I've been
fighter,
watching a lot of
kid.
his tape, getting ready for this. I was texting with CM Punk the other night, and he's all excited. So if he's excited, I'm excited because I know that guy can do some talking.
Oh, there you go. It should be good.
All right, brother. We'll see you there. We'll see you leading up. All right, pal?
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Mike.